And then what was your most memorable role that you've ever been in?
Um, I'd say for myself personally was a movie that I directed and then also starred in, which was Reach, and I think only because it came out of just a place of pure passion. It was a script that I came to me as an actor, and I really loved it. And then things like they do, they're falling apart as far as finances go, and then the producers were kind enough to like let me work with the writer and develop the script a little further, and then also when our director fell out, I was like, listen, I've been working on the script for so long. I think I can really handle this. And they
Yeah.
let me. And so I was wearing a lot of hats, but we filmed in this house that with the crew and the cast, we basically just lived there for
Okay.
a month and filmed at his house. We shot it for no money, and we did the festival circuit, and it affected a lot of people. I mean, it dealt with cancer and
Yeah.
what it's like to have to walk away from a life that you feel still exists for you. And so it was very touching in that sense, and seeing how many people reached out and felt affected by the film I learned a lot. So in that sense, I think that was the most memorable as far as every aspect of the artistry of filmmaking and the business side of it. But as far as a career goes, it's probably Walking Dead is the one that really um, jumped a lot. And it's funny enough because in our industry, sometimes the biggest jobs are the ones that don't even happen. I
Yeah.
think the only reason I got Walking Dead is because that same office that casts, they cast Gotham, which was
Hmm.
a big show for Warner Brothers, and I had tested for that, so it was down to me and Ben, and he had a holding deal, so they went with him. But through that, there were a lot of people in the town that were like, "Oh, who's this kid that we don't know about that's testing for this role?" And so, funny enough, that's probably my biggest job that got me the most attention was this thing that I didn't even get, but they were just people were saying, "Oh, he stands out now amongst some veterans." And so, yeah, you look at jobs as different ways they've impacted you, whether
Yeah.
it's emotionally or career wise.
Jeez, that's brilliant though, because it's strange how certain things don't work out the way you want them to, but they actually work out better down the line.
Right,
So there's always a
right,
path.
totally, yeah.
Very weird.
I
Very, very
know, and
strange.
that's like it's like we were talking about earlier. It's you have to at some point just not succumb,
Yeah,
but accept that because it's like squeezing a handful of sand. The squeezer you tight, the more sand's gonna fall out, and just
exactly.
accept that some sand's gonna start falling, and that's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely. And then if you had to give any advice to up and coming actors or voiceover artists or anything else like that in South Africa or people who want to try and make it overseas, what would your biggest advice be that you've learned personally or that you think you've taught someone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest advice is what I'm still learning is that you don't have to do anything, but the idea being is that you figuring out who you are and what you have to say and are able to say is
Yeah.
far more valuable than any product that you think you can become.
Okay.
And I think a lot of actors are so focused on how do I look like this thing, or how do I become this package that can be sold in the U.S. or
Mm.
oh, I'm working here, but I think in the U.S. it's going to be different. I think the for me, I would say just focus on the artistry, focus on why you're doing this ridiculously impossible career that you can make better money in many other places, and find that passion or that drive or that purpose behind it, and then you'll start to see these other doors open up. But that's the only thing you can really spend energy on is developing your craft, becoming a more developed human being, and whether you're working in the States or South Africa, I think the difference isn't as large as most people assume,
Mm.
because it's not going to, you moving to the States, will it change your life? Possibly, but you're also giving up a lot in whether it's friends or family in South Africa. So I think it's just about what you want to get out of any job, and there will be opportunities that come, and you can take them. I have a friend who asked me this very thing. Sean Cameron, Michael. Uh, is it Sean Michael Cameron? Sean Cameron Michael? Now he's gonna be pissed that I mixed that up. But he's a South
I'll
African
edit
actor. We
that part
worked on a
out.
project. Yeah, exactly. We worked on a project in South Africa, and I'd flown back from the States to film. And he asked me the very same thing. He's like, "Do you think I should do it?" And I was like, "I can't tell you that because it's going to be hard. It's not going to solve anything for you." But he did it. He took that risk, and I applaud him for it. But I know he's going back and forth a lot. And so it's not like he came to the States and everything's solved. He's still working back in South Africa. Then he comes in the States, and I think he loves that aspect of it. But, you know, if you have a family with kids, like that might not be possible for you. It's just, there's no single path. It's not gonna clear anything up for you mentally until you figure it out inside and say, why am I doing this? What do I want out of it? And then, you know, that path will start emerging.
You see, that's what I've also realized is no matter what you want to do, it's never that easy just to do it, just to get up and do it. So many things that impact your life and your decisions and your family, like you say. And if they're not as supportive as like ours might be, then it's going to be an uphill battle the whole way through, and you're going to let people down.
I mean, look, and that's the thing too, is if you have an itch, you're going to scratch it. Like, you can't, somebody says, I believe that in the States I'm going to succeed. If you really believe that, you got to do it, because otherwise you're going to look back and regret. But at the same time, if it doesn't work out, you got to keep finding new ways to kind of keep yourself invigorated or moving along. And it's no shame saying, I tried it, but it's tough there, man. And I came back and I learned a lot, and now I'm that much more grateful, or I'm that much more powerful, I'm that much more creative as an artist in South Africa. So I think if there is an urge to do something, do it by all means. Like, don't hesitate, but at the same time realize it's not going to be an answer that's going to encompass your entire life, you know.
A quick fix, eh? As I said.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't exist.
Time. No, it definitely doesn't.